Hello, I'm Adriana. I am a soul path mentor, and I have worked every day for the last 8 years on my own issues in order to connect with a higher vibration information. And as a result of doing this work, I'm able to channel more clearly information that supports your growth and your spiritual path. We're going to look at a collective reading today and also expand this reading for a few astrological signs. There will be the sun, moon, and rising of those signs. So if I pull Scorpio and you've got Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising, the message is likely for you. All right, so let's get a read on the cosmic energy, kind of cosmic weather for us right now. Okay, lots of cards want to come out here. We've got King of Swords, Prince of Swords, Four of Cups, Eight of Cups. So we're being really encouraged to make decisions, change our thoughts, and it's like take a stand. That's what I'm feeling from these cards. The Four of Cups is, it's two things actually right now. It's apathy, so not really feeling, or ambivalence, not really feeling strongly one way or another, yet we have all of this action coming from the Prince of Swords, the need to speak the truth, the need to connect with the truth, and we also have bringing the truth to a higher place. And the other thing that the Four of Cups is doing with the Eight of Cups on the other side of this is really looking at the truth without emotion, without subjectivity, or without personal bias. And I know you're going to say, well, that is the definition of truth, right? Well, yes and no. Sometimes what we consider truth, we actually are still looking at through the lens of our emotions or our emotional reaction to the facts, perhaps. Okay, so make sure, I shouldn't say make sure, at this time we're being asked to focus on what is the truth going on, what really matters to us, but outside of the realm of taking things personally. Letting go of taking things personally, understanding what the truth is, and that it's time to speak it. It's time to come forward, but not from the subjective place of the self. Let's start looking at how does this truth affect everyone around us? What implications does this truth have for those in our lives, community at large, culture at large? What is really going on with those truths? So what do we do with this information? Or do we look at what the truths are that want to come out? Okay, I'm getting that the truth is the realm of life. So I'm thinking, like in the houses in astrology, it tells you which realm of life we're looking. It's going to be different for everyone. So okay, what is the question we need to ask here? All right, what keeps us from speaking the truth or connecting with the truth? And what is allowing us or supporting us in our quest of that truth? All right, keeping us, Nine of Cups, Eight of Wands, supporting us, Five of Cups, Two of Cups. Wow, interesting message there. Okay, so what is keeping us from speaking that truth is that we're letting our hope for the future get in the way of what we're seeing right now. Okay. We have a tendency, some of us have a tendency to want to think the best of what the future will be. And so we're so focused on hoping or wishing that the future is going to be a certain way, or going to be better, or going to be what we imagine, that we're losing stock of where we are now. And what I feel like these cards are asking us to do is really come to terms with our relationships. We have 5 of Cups. We've got three spilled cups, 2 awake cups, or 2 relationships, or a connection that is actually supportive. And then that 2 of Cups is right here. So see how they're like talking to each other. Funny though, this is looking at the future. This is the past, the spilled cups on the ground, and this is the future. This is more the present, the 2 of Cups here. So we've got like past, present, and future happening all at once. This is looking at relationships much more truthfully than we have been, or than we are desiring to. And it can be really hard to make truthful statements about the relationships that are right in front of you, about the ones that interact with you every day. Because the space between either what we hope they are or what we'd like them to be, and also what we project from ourselves onto them, it's really, really tough to cut through there. It's really, really tough to see that really, really clearly. And so why is it so important that we start to see these relationships through the lens of truth, through the lens of the higher perspective? So this is coming to grips with the idea that relationships are not about happily ever after. They're about spiritual growth for us, even the negative ones, even the ones that are toxic. Not saying that you should stay in there because they're, okay, well, it's for my spiritual growth, so I should stay. No, that's not the point. But it's understanding that every relationship, positive or negative, constructive or destructive, is for your spiritual growth. That's the higher perspective we're looking at here. And until we become comfortable with that perspective, we cannot take the appropriate action. And the Prince of Swords running into the King here makes me feel like it will be time to take appropriate action soon, but unless we have the correct handle on the truth, we're not going to take the correct action. So what can we do to see these relationships for what they truly are? What are the steps we need to take? What's the attitude? All right, the Chariot, King of Cups, Princess of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles. This is really cool. Okay, I'm going to leave the chariot out for a second. Now, see how the Princess of Pentacles is assessing. She's trying to understand what this pentacle is. She's one who learns through analysis, and really one who learns. One who looks at life through the lens of learning. And if this were a different spread, I'd be saying, well, someone else must be paying for her college, because this 6 of Pentacles is like a benefactor, a supportive, nurturing energy that gives the monetary support for her to do her explorations. So on one level, you may be involved in that situation where you have a benefactor that is allowing you to do your spiritual explorations of a relationship. That's one level of this. Another level is that we need to examine the way that we have not engaged. How do I say this differently? We need to examine the conditions that we put on our relationships. If you do this, then you'll love me. If I do this, then you'll love me. If I behave this way, then I'm accepted. If I don't behave this way, then I'm accepted. We need to really look at that. What are the conditions that our relationships put on us? What are the conditions that we put on others? What are the conditions that the relationship puts on us? Are we truly acting in a space of unconditional love? When conditions are such that you can no longer grow, then that is not a good relationship to continue. When the conditions placed on you are such that you're growing despite those conditions, that's another thing altogether. But what the purpose of this reading is not to give you an individual course of action, because again, this is a collective reading and I am not comfortable with giving a general statement for a lot of specific people. Every one of your paths is individual and unique, and so I'm not going to give a general statement like that, but I will say that you can empower yourself towards the right decision by examining all of these conditions. What is it that you're willing to do to receive love? What do you think the other person has to do for you to give them love? And let's also go beyond love. Respect, nurturing, acceptance, belonging. What are all the conditions around that? Because once you have figured this out, then you are free. Once you have figured out all of these conditions, and once you take stock of which conditions you can provide for yourself, you no longer need that relationship to provide for you. I'm going to clarify the Chariot a little bit more. This understanding, okay, I see. This understanding of conditions. So first of all, figuring out what these conditions are. Second of all, figuring out if you can live with these conditions, if you can continue to live and grow with these conditions. Third of all, do these conditions need to be revisited or rethought altogether? Are they truly serving you? Really getting to grips with what these conditions are, that is what is going to help move you forward. That's what helps you make your next decision. That's what helps you make your view of where the future is going to lead you. And rather than clarify the Chariot, we're going to take a look at where the future is going to lead you. Once you've done the work of looking at these conditions and discovering what you will discover in that space. Right. Future, Magician, Queen of Pentacles. Okay. I truly believe that's a good combination, because we're looking at the manifestation, the actual appearance of life changes, life choices that are in harmony with your natural rhythms and with your natural state of being. This is devoid of masks. It's funny, I was watching a little travel program on Venice yesterday, and Venice is famous for the carnival masks. And the reason why people wore them is because they wanted to be able to engage in illicit, forbidden activities like gambling, seducing, partying, drinking, with anonymity. They wanted to be able to wear something else so that they could engage in those types of things which they knew they shouldn't be doing, or maybe not doing as much, or you know what I'm saying. So, because if you have to hide yourself, then you know that what you're doing isn't right. And that's what I feel you're going to be discovering with all these conditions. What masks are you also wearing? Because Queen of Pentacles for me is all about naturalness, the natural self, the natural world, all of that. And she's sitting here without a mask on with the Magician who's looking back at her saying, okay, come on, let's go forward. This is who you really are. Let's make some magic happen for you. And allowing yourself to see the conditions you've agreed to is going to allow you to say, oh my God, I'm wearing a mask that isn't me. This condition doesn't resonate with my highest self. This condition doesn't resonate with me anymore. So I need to take that mask off, and I need to be honest with the other person about what this mask is and what this condition is and how it doesn't work for me. Okay? So I do feel like this brings you back to a more authentic, natural state. And whenever you can come to a more authentic, natural state, your vibration becomes higher, because those masks, those things that I mentioned before, drinking, gambling, seducing, so seducing meaning getting into a relationship with someone who's not in a relationship, I mean, who is probably in a relationship. But there's the idea of coercion. It's not the mutual attraction that you see here in the Two of Cups. Seducing, when you're wearing a mask, is about persuading, pulling, manipulating. Those are all lower vibration things. When you drop the mask, you drop the lower vibration activity out of your vibrational pattern. And then you're able to receive your manifestations a lot more purely. So that's really the essence of why we raise our vibrations. I, for one, was wanting to raise my vibration so I could hear my intuition a lot stronger. But along the way, I learned that as you raise your vibration, you're able to manifest at a whole new level. You're able to attract higher vibration situations to you, which actually increase the benefit, the health, the positivity, the love that you feel. So the more masks we can drop, the more of our real self we start receiving and interacting with, and that real self becomes the magnetic point of attraction. And so I do feel like through this whole process, you will start to see some benefits in your physical world, as long as you're willing to do the work and be very honest about what you're seeing in yourself and in the other person. I do want to do some quick checking in with signs to see who needs a little bit more clarification with this, or a little more extension. Okay, Prince of Pentacles, Prince, Virgo. Hanged Man, Neptune, that'll be Pisces, and then Libra. All right, so we've got Virgo, Pisces, and Libra. So let's get another round of messages we'll start with Virgo, since you came up first. This card wants to fall out. Seven of Cups. All right, again, Virgo, you're in a little place where, it's funny, seduction is a word that's very much associated with Seven of Cups here. We were just talking about seduction. Do not get seduced by illusions. Do not get seduced by fantasies. All of these sword cards from before were about being very real with what you're seeing. So do not get caught up in your idea of what you think something should be. Look at what it is, and then look at how you can make it better. There's a real dichotomy between fantasy and reality here. There's a real clear separation, Virgo, but you need to be sure that you're not caught up in one or the other. No, let me say that differently. You need to be really sure that you're clear on the line between them. So if you are indulging in a fantasy, understand that that is fantasy. So you say, okay, this is my daydreaming time. This is my creating my ideal world in my head time. Don't try to force that world onto the world that is around you. Understand where that world is, and then take action. Then take nurturing action. We've got all cups, which are about nurturing, giving. Okay? Make sure that you're really clear on which side is which. Right, message for Pisces, please. Looks like we're getting two cards for Pisces. Ace of Swords and Death. So we've got transformation leading to a moment of clarity. And this is going on with all of the swords that we're seeing. So the Death card, it's a heavy Scorpio energy on that card. You may have been in the dark for a while. The reason why I'm bringing up Scorpio in the water is because the clarity comes out of the emotional part of you, that it comes out of the intuitive part of you. And let me just get into your space for a second here. I do feel that there is some strong emotion about discouragement. There is some disappointment also. And just know that you're in a process of coming to clarity. It's really important, Pisces, that you do not get so swept away in that emotion that you forget that you're on the path to finding some clarity. There's some overwhelm as well. And I want to just say that there's overwhelm, but there's also a fear of walking through this door. There's a fear of walking through and getting to a place where you're truly cut off from the past. The Scythe is here, and we've got Ace of Swords here, and plus we had all our swords from before. So we're really looking at that action of cutting. And just like with Virgo here, we had this strong delineation between reality and fantasy. This journey you're on, Pisces, takes you to that same knife edge where you can't blur fantasy and reality anymore. This is like reality check coming to hit you in the face. It's like a bucket of cold water. Okay, so you're headed for a reality check. You're headed for that moment of, oh my God, this is real. And I don't feel like this is just a one-time thing. I'm feeling like on your journey, if you've also got air in your chart, perhaps some earth, you're coming to a stage where you're going to be able to discern more clearly between fantasy and reality, between delusion and reality. That line, just like we were just talking about for Virgo, is going to be so strong for you that it's like you have to go through this rite of passage or this trial by fire in order to be worthy of having that discernment, of having that ability to just see things for what they are. So if you're feeling confused and discouraged and disappointed, this is all a process on the way to bringing you to a point of indisputable discernment. Okay, so all the emotional stuff you're feeling is temporary right now. You're coming to a much sharper point. All right, and message for Libra. Okay, 2 coming up for you. 9 of Pentacles, Ace of Wands. Okay. Words are coming through. Be careful what you wish for. Okay, what is the message for Libra here? There's a time message here, like eons or a long time focused on something. 9 of Pentacles. 9 of Pentacles is receiving the support from others, living that life of comfort, living that life of privilege. And Ace of Wands takes you into the entirely opposite energy, because Ace of Wands is more like an Aries energy, which is the opposite of Libra. And you're going into a space of self-discovery and I want to say self-actualization. What else is coming through for Libra here? What is coming balanced is the love of self, as well as the appreciation for the place you've gotten to. So the overall idea of connecting to gratitude and I want to sneeze. Okay, we're all right. There's a little bit of sunlight on this card, whereas this is like, big sunburst. And so this self has been in the background for quite some time, Libra. And it's funny because on this card, she's got a peacock behind her. So I wonder if this card is associated also with Hera, with the Juno. That's what her name is. I couldn't remember her name. But that's significant because Juno as an asteroid is about marriage. And so this is about really the marriage of the self to the self. Okay, Libra. So being really comfortable with who you are and being married to yourself, committing to yourself, which is really the hardest marriage or commitment that we will ever make. But what we were talking about earlier, Libra, about the conditions that others place on us, you tend to place a lot of conditions on you. They may not actually ask you to do the things you do, but you place these conditions on yourself. And so if you were the other person in a relationship with you, so let's just say you split into two people and you're in a relationship with you, would you ask the other person to do what you ask yourself to do? Would you expect them to do the things that you expect to do for yourself? That's the question that you need to ask yourself, because if you're requiring yourself to do more than what you expect them to do back, that's out of balance. And Libra is all about balance. Okay, so it's not about, so you don't want to get into a tit for tat kind of thing, but you do want to become honest with yourself about why is it that you expect yourself to give so much more? What is so abhorrent, or what is so unlikable about you, unacceptable about you, that you have to do these other things? That's where we come back to the love of the self, that Aries energy. This is who I am. I'm not apologizing. This is what I'm offering to the world. That's the really positive Aries energy. Okay, non-apology for who you are. Libra is constantly apologizing. Oh, excuse me, pardon me, sorry, right? How many times as a Libra do you apologize? How many times as a Libra do you apologize for who you are? Just for taking up space. Let's get into a mindset of questioning that. Do you need to keep apologizing? Do you need to keep doing that? All right. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon.